ENTREPRENIPPONIAL, the series for entrepreneurs in Japan. Listen, learn, and apply the experiences of others to your entrepreniponial pursuits. Join us. Welcome, everybody, to the very third episode of ENTREPRENIPPONIAL. So today, our guest is none other than Toyoda Keiichi, the CEO of Spice Up Japan. So many of you may know who Toyoda-san is. Let me just introduce Toyoda-san. Toyoda-san, originally from Saitama, he grew up in Argentina for many years during his youth, and since that time, he's always been on the go. Toyoda-san is an entrepreneur, a radio DJ, a prolific writer who has published more than 10 books, and is now also an aspiring samurai. He earned an executive master in positive leadership and strategy from IE in Madrid, Spain in 2018, and is also now a visiting professor at the Faculty of Global Liberal Arts of Kanda University. So welcome, Toyoda-san, today.
Thank you for inviting me today.
Entrepreniponial, okay?
Entrepreniponial, okay? Yes.
Entrepreneurs in Japan. So Toyoda-san, once again, welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So here's my question to you. Why are you entrepreniponial? Why are you an entrepreneur in Japan?
Why? That's the most difficult question for me. When I was 25, which is 27 years ago, I started my first business, which is a study abroad agency. And I did it for 17 years. And then in 10 years ago, I started the Spice Up Japan.
Okay.
And so far for over 25 years, I established more than 10, maybe 13 companies, but small business, but 13 companies. And then now I have eight companies in 8 countries.
8 companies in 8 countries. Okay.
Yes, it's mainly in Asia.
Okay.
Singapore, Thailand, India, like that.
Okay.
And so, why? The reason why I'm an entrepreneur is a very difficult question, because 27 years ago, I worked for a big company, which is a Shimizu Corporation, the construction company, and after graduation from my university.
Yeah.
But I didn't like my job there, so that's why I drank every night, and I was wondering what to do next. And then a friend of mine invited me to do business together, which is a study abroad agency. So that's why I joined the company. That's my start of my entrepreneurship.
So you didn't necessarily like working in another company. You wanted to try something out for yourself. You've been an entrepreneur for all these years.
Yeah, because you remember I established my first company in 1994.
Okay.
At the time, there was no website for change jobs.
Okay.
Only magazines, and also no online interview. So I have to take holiday. I have to 休まなきゃいけない be absent.
Yep.
And I have to call, and I have to go to the company for interview.
Yep.
Now it's easier because we can apply online.
Right. Apply online, have interviews online. Nobody knows that you're looking for a job.
Okay. So I had no intention to do that.
Understood. So understanding that you've had many companies over the years, you've been involved in many. I'd like to ask you particularly about Spice Up Japan. So why don't you just explain quickly what it is that you do with Spice Up Japan?
Spice Up Japan, my main business is business training. We deliver business training for Japanese corporate clients, mainly in overseas countries.
All right.
So I take the employees of the companies to the foreign countries such as Singapore, India, Thailand, and then train them for a week.
Okay. All right.
Which is my main business now.
Training them in the actual cities in which.
Yes, we focus on global mindset. We don't focus on any business skills or language skills or leadership, but we focus on global mindset.
Okay.
Because for the last 10, 20 years, we Japanese company would like to expand their business in emerging countries, but many of them don't raise their hands. I want to go there. They want to go to like Los Angeles, Paris, London. They want to go, but they want to go to Delhi in India, or they want to go to the Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Yep. But the company would like to expand their business there, so that's why I have to change their minds.
Right. Get them interested in going to those new emerging markets. Okay. So what I'd like to talk to you about then is this: as the entrepreneur, you can boast that you have a company with branches in 8 different countries, right? Yeah. How do you manage a company in 8 different countries? What is your style? What is your
manage
structure?
I don't manage. I don't manage.
You don't manage. Okay.
I don't manage.
Is that the first lesson
because all right.
Manage your companies, or how does that work out?
All right. I know myself a lot well. And my strength is to have a leadership, but I don't have management skills.
Okay.
So I'm not the Superman. So that's why I ask my friends or partners to do those management in other countries. So I manage a small company in Japan.
Okay.
Which is I'm based in Tokyo. So I can manage this small company here. But I cannot manage the companies in overseas. I have a company in Spain, and I do business in Latin America now, and I do business in Singapore, India, Thailand, but I don't manage. I ask my partner to do that.
So tell us, what's the structure then? So, I look at you and I understand, I mean, you are the CEO of Spice Up Japan, Spice Up brand. You have the company in 8 different countries, but you're not managing. So
most important
about kind of the structure.
Yeah, most important things for me is to keep a company brand.
Okay.
And I know I cannot manage. So that's why I ask my partner to do that. And first of all, when I want to start my business in different countries, like in India, I wanted to do business in India in 7 years ago. And I had no partner. I didn't know anyone in India. So first of all, I went to India to find a Indian partner. And then I found it. I found one guy. And then I tried to find the Japanese partner who can be a manager. So actually it takes time.
Okay.
For India, it took more than 1 to 2 years to find a proper manager. But I talked to many people. I want to do business. I want to do business in India. I want to do business in India. And India is how attractive country India is. So I talked to many people, and then someone, okay, I got interested in doing business there. Okay, so be a partner. And then he went to India and they started a business.
So what are you suggesting, Toyoda-san, when you're looking to expand your business? What's coming first? Is it the business idea itself, or you're searching for a person that you can trust and want to work with, and then develop a business regardless of what the business idea is? What is
actually it depends on business. In India, I had no idea, first of all. And then, so I went to India and then thought about what to do. Then the idea of I run a language academy, English language academy there, and the idea was popped up. And in Sri Lanka, when I visited Sri Lanka first time in 7 years ago, I found there are no free magazines, Japanese free magazines for the Japanese tourists. Many countries have Japanese free magazines for tourists. In Hawaii, several. In Thailand, more than 10 free magazines for tourists because many Japanese tourists there. But in Sri Lanka, there is a direct flight from Japan to Sri Lanka, but no free magazines. I found no magazine there. So I talked to, do you know Jetro? Jetro is a part of the ministry of, I don't know. But anyway, they're going to expand, they're going to support the company who do business overseas. And I talked to Jetro, why the Japanese free magazines is not there. And then the Jetro person told me, so please start a business.
So in a way, you are kind of a quintessential entrepreneur. What you do first, you're suggesting, you just go to a new location. You go into the new country and you're looking around and saying, what is it that's lacking here? What can I do? And you find that idea. And then from that idea, you start, but you yourself don't want to be managing and doing all of it, right? You have the seed of the idea and you're finding other people who could share in that vision or share in that passion. And then those people are doing the business that you have an idea for. That's your approach in all of the countries that you've entered?
Basically, yes. And I don't hire them. So they're going to be my partner. They are not employees of mine. So
then help us understand a little bit more. You know, you're in all these countries that you're entering to, you're registering the company as a Spice Up company. Is that correct? Spice Up India, Spice Up Cambodia, Spice Up Singapore. Yes, all. So what holds most people back from the idea of thinking that they can start up a company is, of course, having startup capital, being able to hire those first employees, being able to manage from a distance. But you're suggesting that you don't have any of those issues or concerns.
In every location, I want my partner to have the majority of ownership. And of course, I invest a small amount. And so I have ownership of a small percentage, but I want them, I mean, the partners, to have the majority.
So let me ask you a direct question. Answer it however you can. How's that working out for you? I mean, in terms of this is a very interesting structure, right? It's a structure because it enables you to kind of scale at a very quick pace.
I can say I'm not the business guy in those outside of Japan, but I want to have our brand. And because, as I said, my main business is to deliver the business training, global business training. So I want my image to do business globally. So that's why I want to have my companies a lot in several countries. So in order to do that, and my strength, my weakness is to not to have a management skills. So I want to ask someone to do that, to keep my brand. That's my intention.
So most important to you, you're saying, is first having brand awareness. Second is kind of the idea. And then, or maybe second is actually the people, having the right people who can then do something that you have a passion for, they have a passion for. And ultimately, you've got an investment in each of these companies. So hopefully there's a return to you at some point.
And it's good for my partners because they have no ideas to do some business, but they want to do something. And it's kind of the win-win situation. I want to have, I want to expand my brand, and they want to have a business, or they want to do something outside of Japan. So that's their want. And
Do you operate like an advisor? I mean, do you have meetings with your partners on a
yeah, because I'm one of the owners.
Right. Okay. So as an investor, as an owner in a company, you have meetings, but still you're not dictating what the business
no.
Right? You're leaving it up to their judgment.
I'm not a boss.
Okay. You're a partner. Interesting. Okay. So understanding that's how you approach your business. Let's talk about one other specific business, which is, different than your training. You've created an app for Manga, correct? Tell us about that.
Yes. Yes. Can I change my virtual background?
Please.
This is my new business in Latin America, Manga Vamos. Yeah, first ideas. I wanted to do business in Latin America or in Spain. So I'm in the Spanish-speaking countries. Why? I raised in Argentina, you explained.
Yep.
And so these days, the Japanese company would like to expand their business in emerging market, which is now in Asian countries. So that's why my companies are located in Asian countries. And I delivered a program, the training in those countries. But for the long years, I wanted to do something in Latin America. And I thought what I can do for them or their target. And then I thought manga is good because the Japanese manga is very popular in all over the world. And especially the Spanish-speaking countries, there's so many people and the younger people. So first target was Mexico. Okay. And for Mexico, I wanted to publish the manga like Shonen Jump. Do you know it? It's a very most famous the Japanese manga. And so Mexican Shonen Jump, I wanted to establish, I published, but one of my friends told me about the Mexico. There are a few bookstore, a few kiosks which sell the manga. So Japan we have lots of the bookstores, but there are no. Then my daughter advised me that you should make apps because these days everybody, especially the younger people, read manga in apps. So that's why I established Manga Vamos business.
Just tell us that
3 years ago.
So Toyoda-san, you had this idea, got to create an app. And of course, you've now brought that idea to fruition. It's an actual app that exists. Help us understand, what's the process? How did you create the app? Again, who did you work with? Or, how much ownership did you take of this? What is your approach to getting this done?
It was a little long story because I'm not a technical person. And I don't know how to make those apps. So first of all, I talked to this idea to a company who runs a manga app who runs a manga app of Jump and magazine, which is almost second famous manga. But he said, the president of the company said, it cost a lot. More than 25 million yen to develop new apps.
Okay.
So I gave up because I had no money to do that.
Right.
And then again, I talked to my vision. I talked to my idea to many friends. I want to do this kind of business. And the Spanish-speaking country and in manga business is they have many potential. And talked to many people. And the one engineer, the Japanese engineer, raised his hands. I want to do that.
Okay.
For free.
So 25 million yen to go to an established company.
Yes.
Or 0 yen to go to somebody who has the skill and the passion to make it happen.
And he had skills, and he worked for a company as an engineer, but he said it was boring.
Okay.
He wanted to do something fun.
Hmm.
So that's why I provided him the fun situation.
Okay.
But it took time.
Let me
because-
ask a little bit. Let me push that a little bit.
Right.
So yes, it's a great story. You did it for zero, but still, he needs to make some kind of money, right? He needs to make a salary. So did you support him in any way, or
No, I didn't.
so he's
So that's why we had no time to. He had no time to do that because he was busy as an engineer.
okay, doing his
Yeah, he worked for another company.
Okay.
And I paid zero to him to produce that apps. So
Okay.
it took 1 year, and actually the app didn't do well. We didn't do well for making apps. So then I asked my friends in Vietnam, engineering companies, to make those product apps.
Okay.
They are very cheap because it's in Vietnam.
Okay.
Much cheaper.
So in other words, Toyoda-san, it sounds like you had your engineer friend in Japan create like the prototype. But
Prototype.
It wasn't
less than prototype.
Less than prototype, but still enough that you were able to get your idea into something, well, not physical, but something virtual, but still enough that then the Vietnamese company could look at that and improve on it, right? And then you needed to pay the Vietnamese company. So there finally, there's some money coming out of your pocket to get this.
Actually, I didn't find the company in Vietnam.
No.
They are just a friend.
Okay.
And what I did is to talk. I talked to them, my situation. And then they suggested me, we can help you.
Okay.
With cheaper price.
Yeah.
And then how much? And actually the price is so cheap. So I decided to ask them to make apps and apps for Android and apps for iOS and also the website. And then, yes, we could do that.
Okay. And so then you made an investment and now you're able to run the app and now it's a real business. Is correct, right? I mean,
Right.
Very cool. Very good. So you're definitely giving us some insights into how it is that you're getting your businesses off the ground. You know, it's definitely your vision for a long time and talking it up to people and just talking it up until you find the right connection. Right?
Yeah, what I do always is to talk to many people with passion. That's only what I'm doing.
And the other thing that you do is you write a lot of books with passion because you published so many books over the years, right?
19 books I published.
19 books.
19. And the one book was translated into the Hangul, Korean language, and one was into the Chinese.
Okay.
So my books was published in Taiwan and Korea.
So Toyoda-san, most people have difficulty just getting that first book published. And you've published now 19 books. What's your secret sauce to that? How are you getting so many books published?
What I did is the same as my companies. When I was, it was 15 years ago, I wanted to publish my book because my company was so small. I didn't do well in business. Of course, I could keep my business, but didn't expand. And that's why I wanted to do something more, something new. And I thought I want to be, it's better for my company too, when I become the book author and be famous. So that's why I talked to a publishing company. He's also a friend. And I talked to him a lot, my ideas. And I submit my idea to him, but rejected once. And tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, I submitted another ideas,
Yep.
but rejected.
Mm.
And the next day, I submitted another ideas. So every day I submitted my ideas to him.
Okay.
Then he said, don't submit anymore. It's too much, because I submitted every day.
Okay.
But he told me, we decided to publish your book because you have a passion, and you don't give up.
Okay.
Usually he's a very super publisher,
Right.
and so far he had lots of proposal of publishing. But once he rejected, no one submitted another proposal next day.
Okay.
But I did. I was only one, he said.
You're relentless. You keep on pushing. You come back. You don't let one rejection knock you down. That's clearly.
So when I find a partner for business, when I publish my books, every time I talk to them, or submit my proposal, every day.
Yeah.
I don't give up.
So Toyoda-san, maybe there's now a question of your own kind of mindset and psychology. What is it that keeps driving you? As you, I think you've alluded to many times, people might just get disillusioned with rejection, and they let it knock them down. But you clearly don't let the rejection sort of hold you back. How is that? Any particular experience or thing that you can point to in your past that gives you this kind of way of thinking, this mindset?
I'm enjoying challenging.
Okay.
But after establishing my first company, I had a hard times for like 10 years.
Okay.
So every time I challenge it, nothing did well for like 10 years. So now, much better than the first 10 years. So if I try, something happens.
Yep.
I know. So the rejection is nothing. Rejection is nothing for me, because we can try anytime. We can try. We have a next time. So I'm alive.
Yep.
I'm not dead.
Yep.
So that's why I can try next time. So this is my mindset. So nothing, I don't lose anything.
Cool. Toyoda-san, do you think, in your own experience, you spent some time growing up in Argentina as a child?
Argentina.
Do you think your way of thinking goes back to the fact that you did spend time outside of Japan, or it's just who you are?
I don't think so, because I was in Argentina for 5 years when from I was 3 to 8.
Yep.
Very young, very small. I was kid.
Okay.
And when I was 8, I came back to Japan. And after that, I was raised in Japan after that.
Okay.
So I'm a Japanese.
You're a Junsui.
I'm a Junsui Nihonji. I'm a typical Japanese.
Yep. Good. Good. So anybody can do it. It's just the mindset.
Anybody can do it.
Just that don't give up mindset.
And I'm not a specialist in global business, or I'm not a specialist in English. So in English, I mean, when I started my business in India, I established an English language academy.
Yep.
But I didn't have a method of teaching English. Of course, I'm not an English teacher.
Yep.
So that's why when I interview the employees, the candidates, every time I ask the candidate, do you have a method, or can you make a method for my academy if I hire you?
Yep.
So yeah, every time, even with the employees, I want their help.
So you're always looking for somebody who has an idea of the
Yeah, because
process,
I'm not a
how
Superman.
to get it done. And
So
that's
I'm not a Superman.
understood.
Mm.
But you are an aspiring samurai. What's up with that?
Samurai. Yes, samurai. Like manga,
Mhm.
the word of samurai, many people knows in the world.
Yep.
And if I do something globally, my strength, one of my strengths is I'm Japanese.
Yep.
If sometimes the Japanese people speaking English fluently, but they're not global person. They're Japanese and they're not American. They're not English people. And for me, I'm not good at speaking English, but I speak English. But
Yep.
my strength point is most strong point is I'm Japanese. So
Mhm.
I use manga
Yep.
to do business globally. Also, I want to use the word of samurai.
Mhm.
And luckily, that because of the COVID-19, I didn't go out. I cannot go out
Right. Right.
out of Japan.
Out of Japan.
But so far, my life is like half in Japan and half in overseas.
Yep. And so
But now I have
you're studying, what is it, swordsmanship and tea?
swordmanship and the tea ceremony and
Yep.
also Aikido. Do you know Aikido? Aikido is the Japanese martial arts for defense.
Mhm.
And I practice every day. So even this morning. So every morning, 6 days a week,
Yeah.
I practice Aikido from 6:30 to 7:30.
Mm.
So every day Aikido, and once a week, I practice swordmanship,
Yep.
sword technique.
So Toyoda-san, let me ask you one last question to summarize everything we've spoken about.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I always look at your activities. I see what you post on Facebook. I see you going here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly you're somebody who's doing a lot of things. And, you know, most people that maybe are running their own business too, they get so stuck in the details of the day-to-day. You know, they say, I don't have enough time to sort of do so much more. But you seem to be able to find it. So final question, what is it that you do you think, that allows you to sort of have this breadth of experience and breadth of interest and kind of get things done to the extent that you feel that you're successful?
I think it's the same as I told you. I know my strengths, so I do my strong point. I mean, a strong job I do, but others, my staff, my partner do for me, do for us, for my company, so I can have a time to do Aikido or something else. And yeah, that's why.
Yep. So I'm going to summarize understanding two major points from you. You know, one is, in a previous episode, we talked about finding your niche. And for some business people, knowing what your niche is, knowing what you're good at, and developing a business around that is what is the point of success for other entrepreneurs. That's not you, right? So
about the management skills.
Yeah.
Why I know I don't have a management skills. It was 10 years ago.
Okay.
10 years ago, I had two small companies, and I managed the small companies. I could do that. I could manage.
Okay.
But at the time, the bigger company, bigger is not big, but the company with 120 employees asked me to be a COO and please manage that company. And at the time, I thought I could do that.
Right.
Because so far I did my business for 10 years.
Yep.
And I tried.
Yep.
But I couldn't do that.
Yep.
I couldn't manage. I couldn't we had the 8 branches in Japan, and I couldn't manage well. And I knew I had no management skills for with bigger companies. So small business is okay, but I'm not good at doing.
Clearly, what you're also saying is you know yourself, you know what you're good at, and you recognize that the way to develop business in terms of the way that you do it, your spice up sort of style, is to find ideas first.
Ideas first, yes.
Multiple ideas, not within one niche, but you're finding it by going to different locations, seeing what might be necessary, but not even then doing it yourself, but then continually talking about that idea until you find somebody who shares that passion and you can work with, right?
I talked to many friends, not only with the Japanese. So it's like a brainstorming. Every day I do brainstorming. The purpose is not for brainstorming, but anyway, I talk to many people in the many situations. So that's why I had the many ideas.
So David has a question, okay. So David's question is, what success stories do you have, Toyoda-san, for marketing in a new country? How have you marketed when you've entered some new countries where you haven't had any business before?
Marketing. Okay, for marketing, the Manga application, Manga apps. Because my main business is to deliver the business training. I made a business training program to do marketing well in Latin America. And the students, the college students, also the business person, paid for us, pay the training fees for us, and then do marketing for us. That's my story. And actually it goes very well.
So you bring Japanese young talent from Japanese companies who are paying you to provide them a training opportunity. The mission that you're providing to them is,
I provide a mission.
In America, how do we market this product? And did you get good ideas from them?
Yes. And actually, not just ideas. They did a marketing plan.
Okay.
And in Cambodia, I opened a Japanese curry rice restaurant, Phnom Penh, 7 years ago. But I didn't do well for marketing. So I made a training program I have a problem in this curry restaurant. So please help me, which is my mission. So the trainees and the students paid for me, paid a training fee for me, and then went to Cambodia to do a marketing plan.
Okay. And so
that's my idea.
It's great. I mean, you're giving us an awesome insight into how you have been able to generate some marketing ideas by using the different businesses that you have. Ultimately, what did you learn that you should have done better in Cambodia to market your curry restaurant?
Sorry.
What did you do in the end better for marketing your curry restaurant?
Actually, the other day I closed my curry restaurant, and now we are doing is what we are doing is just a training program. So this is my story in Cambodia.
All right. Okay. So we have another question that came in.
また難しい。
Future trends of global mindset training.
Actually, global mindset is, I think it's different from America, the global mindset for American people also the global mindset for Japanese people. And
How's
I
that?
focus on the Japanese global mindset. And for Japanese always say, I'm not that good at speaking English. My English is not good. I don't speak English. Or I don't want to go to the new countries. But they do business well in Japan. So they have no experience to get out of comfort zone. So once I take them to the new countries, they feel, oh, I can do business with my skills. I mean, the language skills and the business skills. So I give them experience and then train them a mindset. So I focus on the global mindset for Japanese. So I don't know much about the future trends of the global mindset for other people, but the Japanese, so trend is like that.
Yep. Well, what are you're suggesting, just to understand what you're saying? I mean, if we think about global mindset, global means the world, and everybody, Japanese, non-Japanese included, live in the same world, right?
Yeah.
The requirements for being global are not necessarily different from each country to country, but the starting point is very different.
Very, very different.
Right.
Because for Japanese, we usually say 海外, overseas, or global, which means the outside of Japan. But actually the global, I mean the Japanese meaning, the global is not the same. America, England, Australia, all different. But for us, for Japanese, Japan, and outside of Japan.
Yes.
So I focus on those for those Japanese people.
So now we have another question too, and we didn't actually talk too much about this.
Can we have a global mindset with them?
You have your initial training was all about traveling overseas, and now we can't do that. So what are you doing? How did you?
I think I can do that. Yeah, after the COVID-19, we cannot go out of Japan, but I delivered program online. And of course, I want to take those Japanese people to overseas, and I mean the new countries, and then experience new things there. But I can do it online. For example, I give them a mission, like a company A would like to do business in globally. Please ask many people in the world, and based on their real voice, please suggest a new idea, or please propose a new idea for the CEO of the company A. Then the trainees have to communicate with many people online. And now we have many technologies. And usually I advise them to use the language exchange apps. Anybody knows the language exchange apps? Do you know it, Brian? No? For example, I'm learning the Spanish now. And I registered one language exchange apps. I'm a Japanese, I speak English, and I'm studying Spanish now because I want to do business in Latin America. And some guys in Latin America, like in Peru or Argentina, I like the Japanese manga. And I speak Spanish, of course, the native speaker. And I speak English, and I'm studying Japanese. He or she registered like that. And then the matching, and then I can talk to them in Spanish. Hola, ¿qué tal? And they speak to us, konnichiwa. Like that, there is the language apps works.
All right. And you use those apps to just help your trainee connect with people around the world.
then so during the 3-4 hours, they can communicate with different people in English with 20 countries, 30 countries. That's a very similar situation with a similar situation which I take them overseas.
Okay, all right. So Jennifer is writing, so she's learned that she's a little lazy, too lazy to build a global business. She doesn't really want to scale at the moment. I don't know, do you, Toyoda-san?
Actually, I don't scale my business.
What?
I don't scale my business.
No.
I just establish a company, a small business in different countries. So I don't think I scale my business.
So Angelica writes, she's learned that it's really important to know one's own strengths and weaknesses, as well as to reach out to other people for help. Okay, that's a great comment, because I think that summarizes very well what it is that you've been telling us today, Toyoda-san. Okay. And from David, we understand Toyoda-san's actions and suggestions regarding markets suggest an approach I haven't considered in detail before. So he'll be able to give this more thoughts over the weekend. Good. David, can you speak out or just say a little bit more? What particularly, or write it in, what particularly is it that you haven't thought about before that Toyoda-san has just inspired you to think about?
Yeah, so the angle of using, or when he was saying he was using his training to have those people go out and do the training or marketing, the add-on effect there. And while what I'm doing isn't exactly the same, and there's going to be, obviously different angles to it, it just got me to think. It was like, wait a second, how could I use the people I'm selling to be my selling team as well? So that's really all there is right now.
Yeah, very good.
I got the idea of that from the Kidzania. Do you know Kidzania? It's from they're from Mexico first, and the kid at Kidzania, the parents can have their children to experience the jobs, the real job, but it's not the real job. It's an attraction.
And Nakamura-san does right. He says he's learned he had no courage, so he spends business life in one company. But Toyoda-san, do you think you have courage? Is this?
No, I don't think so.
No.
So I need partners.
However, Nakamura-san, I think what we can learn from this too, what I'm understanding, you could spend your life working with one company as you've done. But if we take the real inspiration from what Toyoda-san is saying, if you have an idea, you just got to bring that idea to somebody else who wants to do that for you as well, right? So you could continue working where you're working and maybe make a small investment into a venture for somebody else, and in that way you can be entrepreneurial, but also at the same time continue working within that one company. Not overthinking, but taking action is most important. Why is that? That's an awesome insight. How did you get that insight from what Toyoda-san was saying?
So from what I was listening, it just seems that as soon as he gets an idea, he takes action on it instead of like analyzing, thinking too much about it. I think when people start to think too much about the pros and cons, it kind of unmotivates them to actually take action on the idea. Yeah.
So Toyoda-san, is that what you've done too? Do you not get weighed down by pros and cons, and you just?
Yeah, I think so, because the people trust the people who can take action.
Yep. Okay.
And also we can grow from the experience only, not from skills or not from knowledge.
Yep. Yep. And just do it. Try. Enter a new market with a learner mindset. Seek out needs that are currently not met in the market, and keep pushing your idea. Right. So that's clearly what you've talked about today, as opposed to in another discussion where we had the entrepreneurial discussion was based very much on finding your own niche, Catherine. So what I've learned in just 3 episodes of doing this so far is that, you know, for some, finding that niche is really what is the basis for a good business, right? That's what you talked about, Catherine. Toyoda-san actually has gone the complete opposite way. Rather than find, you know, although he has one thing that he does and he does well himself, which is global training, he also gets new ideas that he has no experience with and just keeps speaking up those ideas to finding other people who are interested in doing that. So actually not having a niche in your case is what gives you the freedom to be free with your business ideas and to continually expand. So not to say that one is right or wrong, but it's just we've learned that there are 2 very different ways to go about new business developments that you know are good for different people.
Can I just ask,
Yep.
Brian, so Toyoda-san, you've got your core nucleus of what you do, which is your excellent work in global training. And then outside of that, you're always looking for other little sparks, ideas that might happen, and then taking action on those ideas to see if they're going to be viable for doing something else. So you've got your core, but you're always interested in doing something else around it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You definitely have given us some insight into what it means to be entrepreniponial, because you're definitely entrepreneurial in that you're starting up multiple businesses through passionate ideas and looking for the right partners. And you're also nipponial because you're trying to do it by understanding your strengths as a person, as a Japanese person, and trying to sort of bridge Japan with the world. So I thank you very much for giving us your thoughts and insights and for being our guest today on this webinar.
Thank you very much.